Well, what a wonderful thick and fog day to you, survivor who narrowly escaped my chainsaw sprint. My name is Bricky, and welcome to Dead by Daylight Casefile, featuring Billy, or better known as the Billy Boy. The hillbilly's name is Max Thompson Jr., who is the son of wealthy landowners Max and Evelyn Thompson. In fact, he doesn't even have a name. The only reason his name is Max Thompson Jr. is because his dad's name is Max, because he was an unwanted child to these horrifying parents. Born disfigured, they bricked him off into a room and fed him through a small hole for most of his life. Once he escaped, he slaughtered his parents and continued to live life on the farm, killing and murdering any animals or people who arrived. That is the short but definitive story of Max Thompson Jr., the Billy Boy. So the hillbilly's power is his chainsaw sprint. After a charge that slows down the killer for a short duration, you sprint at extremely high speeds in one direction with very limited control of movement. If you hit a survivor with the sprint, you will immediately put them into the dying state. Hitting an obstacle will stop the sprint, and you can immediately break pallets when you sprint into the dropped ones. That is the Billy Boy's very simple but very useful power. So how do you play the Billy Boy? Well, a lot of people have requested the hillbilly for a long time. The reason I waited until he was the second to last killer, well, third to last now, because Jigsaw came out ruining my flow, but you know, we'll get Jigsaw later. Anyway, there's a reason I didn't do him for a long time, and that's because I suck at the hillbilly. I am so incredibly bad at using his chainsaw, as I never spent much time playing with him to begin with. Back when there was only 3 killers, the Trapper was my personal favorite, and then immediately after that they added the Nurse, and well, there really wasn't a reason to look back after that. The hillbilly actually takes a lot of mechanical requirements to play. Not as much time required as the Nurse does, but it's still not a killer you can just pick up and win with. See, what makes the hillbilly so good is map pressure and just pressure in general. Your chainsaw sprint makes you move at ungodly fast speeds, so you can just go to generator to find any survivors worth taking out. A lot of the time, you won't be using the chainsaw for the attack, but rather just for movement. It's not easy to gain distance on the hillbilly because he's always revving that thing, making a beeline for you. The difference between a bad, a good, and a god tier hillbilly is his directional control and ability to take out survivors with his chainsaw. If you start sprinting at a survivor, bad hillbilly players like me will get juked and faked out time after time after time, until we all just start resorting to using his mallet. Good players know when it's time to chainsaw and when it's time to mallet, like with Leatherface. But unlike with Leatherface, it's much harder to hit, and you have that insane map pressure to keep people on their toes. Basically, you take Leatherface, you make his chainsaw so much harder to hit, but you give him insane map pressure. But the chainsaw, after enough practice, doesn't feel like it's much harder to hit because you've been practicing the hillbilly. The hillbilly can go from 0 heartbeat to literally sawing you down in a heartbeat, and you gotta be ready. So let's discuss Billy Boy add-ons. Most of them are actually pretty good with the exception of the noise one, because honestly, who gives a shit about the noise? Charge time add-ons like Spark Plug, Primer Bulb, and Carburetor are all wonderful, and the movement add-ons like Spiked Boots and Thompson's Moonshine give you way more freedom of movement and can help you out a lot. Begrimed Chains is also a really trolly add-on, moderately decreasing the repair speed of survivors until they are healed and considerably decreasing healing time of survivors injured by the chainsaw. It's really annoying to get hit by. For teachable perks, we have Stab Me Again, I Wasn't Looking, Lie at the End of the Tunnel, and the Roo 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 spam in the chat, please. Enduring was always a decent perk. It's even better now. Being able to challenge almost every pallet in a loop and massively nullify the effects of Decisive Strike make this teachable great on every killer that has to deal with pallets. Lightborn sounds amazing on paper. Resistance to light effects, resistance to flashlights. And it was great back in the day. But to be honest, perks like Franklin's Demise and Overwhelming Presence do what it does better. And also you could just, you know, look at a wall when you're picking someone up. Finally, Tinkerer is situational. It's probably the best on people like the Hillbilly, Leatherface, and the Huntress. Actually, in fact, it's extremely good on these killers, but generally pretty meh on everyone else. This is one of those things that's like super godly on one person or super meh or unusable on another person. Granted, slight tangent, take Primer Bulb, Carburetor, and Tinkerer. These 3 things together will make your chainsaw charge up so fast. It's stupid how fast it charges. It's practically like a mallet. It's just really, really good. For a solid hillbilly build, enduring is practically a must. fuck Decisive Strike, and fuck Pallets. Challenge all of them and reap the reward. It goes without saying, because I say this with every killer, Barbecue and Chili and Hex Ruin are great perks. After that, I enjoy Overcharge a lot on Billy because sometimes you sprint to a gen and the survivors already hid from you and you don't really want to spend the time searching for them, so you just kick the gen and leave. Other than that, Nurse's Calling and Agitation are pretty solid too. Also, the new Jigsaw perk, Make Your Choice, is very good for you. It also is nice for survivors because you don't tunnel certain people, but if they unhook someone, you know exactly where they are and you are going to sprint over there really fast. However, for a meme build, Modern Abuse, Insidious Tinkerer, and a perk of your choice, along with the Chainsaw Sound Reducer and a Charge Time add-on. Jump out from behind a rock and roo the fuck down on people. And finally, before I go, here's the Hillbillies Mori, the roo king. Can I get a roo spam in the chat, please? Cappuccino. So let's wrap up the Hillbilly. Mechanically, I'm very bad at him. I don't have much practice. He's actually the only killer in the roster, besides the new Saw killer, that I do not have Prestige 3. However, that doesn't mean he's bad. Far from it, in fact. He's probably considered the second best killer in the game, flip-flopping with the Huntress. The Nurse still takes top spot, but it has that mechanical requirement. Hillbilly is right below, around with the Huntress. He's incredibly good. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill to play well, but thanks to massive map pressure, the ability insta-down, he remains a fierce opponent, and one that will make you shit your pants excessively when you see him. Normally, either the Hag or Myers are the only real shit your pants characters in Dead by Daylight because of how scary they are. When you see a Hillbilly rooing his chainsaw behind you, you get pretty freaked out. And that has been the Dead by Daylight case file on the Hillbilly, Max Thompson Jr., and the Billy Boy. As per the usual, the game is played how you want to play it. No made up honor code, no fake rules, no entitlement. Those hate comments on your profile mean absolutely nothing except that you beat your enemy and you beat them in a humiliating fashion. You should be proud. Do whatever it takes to win, and most importantly, have fun. My name is Bricky, and can I get a roo spam in the chat, please? Bye-bye.